mic check, 1 2 1 2. Yes, you love me and I love you. Putting on for my people, the love for heroes, building community. Can you hear me now? Oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Oh, can you hear me now? 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 Hear me now.
Hello, and welcome back to yet another episode of GoneMad Presents Can You Hear Me Now? I'm your host, Lady Madelyn Patterson, with my beautiful co-host here, Miss Vicki, Lynn, Merriwether. And we've got a great show for you today. Some wonderful conversation from surviving to changing lives. From just surviving to changing lives. Think about this. A young girl may enter foster care, faces instability, finds her voice, becomes a leader, and now is changing the system for others. It is none other than Miss Cortney Jones, who is sitting here to my left, your right. And I am just so pleased to have you here. And next to her is her beautiful daughter, Miss Zoe. Oh, we're glad to have both of you guys here today. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. Thank you.
And she's so polite. I love it, Courtney. You did a great job, baby girl. Great job. Listen, we're going to talk a little bit about your story. Mm-hmm. And because we have Ms. Zoe here, we're going to talk a little about her story and give us a little bit of background. I gave them a little bit about the title, but I want to let me just read a little bit about your bio, because I just think you're amazing.
Thank you.
So Cortney Jones is a speaker, social worker, and systems change setter who helps individuals and organizations better understand behavior, address burnout, and create meaningful, lasting change. She's the founder and executive director of Change One, where she leads work focused on housing stability, workforce development, restorative practices, and policy reform. Having entered foster care at the age of 8, Cortney brings lived experience and professional expertise to her work, offering a perspective that bridges lived experience with real-world application. Through EHT framework, empowerment, healing, and transformation, she helps individuals and organizations move from survival mode to sustainable growth.
Yes.
Bless you, my sister. Cortney, thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about who you are, from your background, and how you got into this to create Change One.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me here, having my daughter here today. I appreciate y'all. Just a little bit about me. I am someone that I feel like is God's hands and feet. I ask him every day to order my steps and to use me as he sees fit. And so I am a servant, first and foremost. And I believe that everything that I have gone through in my life is to show God's good grace and mercy. So as you said in my bio, I grew up in foster care. And so I spent 10 years in foster care, and I aged out of the foster care system. And since then, I have been dedicating my life to systems reform, making sure that we do right by kids that come after me. And I did start Change One Mind, Change One Life, because I wanted to make sure that kids that age out of foster care know that they don't have to do it alone.
Yeah, let me just sit with that for just a minute. You went through the system, came out on the other side, and then now you are looking to say, let me go back and take my experiences and work to change the system, even if it was one at a time.
Correct. Yep.
What is it about the foster care system that you saw, that you said, I need to do something about this. I need to change something.
Yeah, so my experience in foster care, I had good foster homes. I had some horrible foster homes. And I feel like for kids in the foster care system, I always say they didn't ask to be born, they didn't ask to be abused and neglected, and they didn't ask to be shuffled through a system. And then also to be thrown out at 18 or even 21 because, legislation has changed, or you could potentially stay until 21, but they didn't ask for that. And so it's important, for us to give back and to help and support, and to let people know that, like, for me, when I was a kid, I didn't understand what I was going through, but as an adult, I was able to put more context to it. And so now, I think it's important for people to understand, why kids come into care, what happens to them in care, and ultimately what happens to them after they age out of the foster care system. And it was because of the things that I went through, because I think that we can do better. And I want to hold people accountable to our next generation that deserves it.
Yeah, and while you're in foster care, are there services available to you during that, whether it's mental health services and those types of things? But when you age out and it's time for you to go, what is available to you? Because I want Vicki to also talk through a little bit about even those the intersection of identity and now what?
Yeah.
That happens.
So in foster care, you're inundated with services. You have to go through services even if you want to or you don't want to. And you are told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And so as you age out of the foster care system, for me, I felt like my critical thinking and problem solving skills were delayed. When it came to my peers, I felt like I was a little bit more naive than my peers. Of course, you're going to be naive as you're a young adult emerging, but I was really behind. And I feel like that inundation of services not teaching me, like, how to set up a doctor's appointment. Like, you drug me to all these doctor's appointments and made me take all this medicine, but how do I continue to take this medicine? How do I set up my doctor's appointments? How do I do the things that you did for me?
So the life skills that go along with life is not necessarily a part of the program, and unless you may get a foster parent that goes, quote unquote, the extra mile.
Correct.
And pours into you that way. But more often than not, it is follow the bouncing ball, do, and then now you're done, figure it out.
Correct. They do have preparation for adult living, and they have circle support, those things of that sort, but not every kid gets a circle. And also, when you go through preparation for adult living, what I learned at 15 in a 6-week course, I may forget at 18 when I really actually need to apply it.
Oh, so it's like
you're eligible to take it at 14 and a half to 18.
Oh, it is a course.
It's a course.
A course you take.
One time,
and then check mark.
Correct.
We satisfied that requirement. Correct. You're on your own, kid.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I'm...
Well, on the other side of that,
yeah,
because I had to do foster care training, because I had to do foster care training. I had adopted someone at a certain age, but they had to go through that system. It can be, I think a disservice is done on both sides because they make you jump through so many hoops. And as a foster care parent, you have caseworkers, lawyers on both sides. It's so many people, and then they have you go. I was in a class almost every night after work. And I was fortunate and I'm more so blessed because I have a daughter that kind of had to drop out of school and start working because I was working at night at that time. So somebody had to be there during the day. It can't. And I worked with mothers and fathers who had children in foster care, and I worked with young women or children that were coming out of that system, younger and older. And it's jumping through the hoops. And the system has you check boxes. And people get lost in the
sauce, pretty much.
basically in checking boxes. Like, you have to do this in order to make these steps.
And with you coming out of it, Change One is not that.
Oh, no.
Which is the organization you created.
Yes. We do not check boxes at Change One. A lot of people say I hold my clients' hands too much. And I say, I'm going to hold it right now. Because my hope is that I don't have to hold it forever.
Yeah.
And that's what I want, is for young people to know that I got you. And we going to rock this out together. And you got to do your part, and I'm going to do my part. And then the hopes and prayers and the hard work that you put into it, you're going to become self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Well, everybody needs a handhold.
Yes.
And I think that's where our children in that system sometimes get lost, because children, period, because we want to make them hyper independent and not recognizing that we need people to live.
Yeah, and even in it's the community piece, right? It really does take a village to raise a child, but it also takes a village and a community for everyone to continue to growth and just health and prosper. And so I love what you're doing with Change One. I don't know if you want to share your real backstory, if you would like to do that.
Okay.
And the reason why when we met, and I'm listening and talking to Miss Cortney, and I hear your story, it brought tears to my eyes, first and foremost, not from a sad place. It brought back Romans 8:28.
All things.
For all things work together for the good of the Lord, that for those that love the Lord and are called according to His purpose. And although you went through the stuff you went through, it was purposeful. And I love your outlook on that. Some may go through things and go, woe is me, and it wasn't for a purpose. But you were able to look at it through a spiritual eye and say, okay, I understand, Lord, why I had to go through this. So if you don't mind sharing your story, just for the viewers to fall in love with you like I did and appreciate what you bring into the table.
Ooh, let's see what part.
Yeah, you don't have to do the whole thing.
You say what?
You don't have to do the whole thing.
Yeah. So for me, I think where I would start is the fact that when I decided to go to college, I barely knew how to read and write. And I was told that I would get a tuition fee waiver and that college would be paid for. But no one ever talked to me about, like, well, who do I give the tuition fee waiver to?
Right.
And no one ever talked to me about SATs or ACTs, or even just like, if you don't take that, then how do you get in college? And so I was determined to become a social worker and to be the social worker that I didn't feel like I had those whole 10 years in foster care. And so I said, I'm going to figure it out. And so I had an assessment done, and I was told, oh, you don't know how to read. You're at a 7th grade level. College is not for you.
Oh, wow.
And so I was given some trade books, and I was told, look at these books. Despite what I said I wanted to do, she told me what she thought I should do. And I took that assessment. I went to that college, and I said, hey, I need help. And I got signed up for disability services. And it was a time in my life that I could have said, you know what, I'm not smart. I can't do this. Or I could say, okay, this is what I'm working with, and let me figure this out anyway, because I have a goal in mind. And that's what I did. And yes, of course, as a college student, I was embarrassed, because when it was test taking time, I left because I went to the disability center so that they could read my tests to me. I had accommodations, I had extra time on tests and all of those things. And of course, my friends would be like, where are you going, type thing. And I had to learn that, I just learned differently. and that I've had to continue to keep, learning differently my whole life. And so I knew after leaving junior college and I went off to a university, I knew that I had to start my healing process and that I could not be defined by my past, and that I had to start walking into who I want to become and be. And I wanted to become a social worker. And I said, well, how can I help others if I hadn't even helped myself? Mm-hmm. So I used the counseling services on campus. And then I joined a Bible study group on campus as well. And so that helped me start my healing journey.
Wow. Mm-hmm. You did not allow, excuse me, your circumstances, your situation to keep you stuck in a place of, I can't do this. Mm-hmm. The cards are stacked against me. Mm-hmm. I don't have this. All that I don't have. Mm-hmm. You said, okay, well, here's what I do have.
Yep.
Now, where do we go from here?
Yes. I always say, these are the cards that I was dealt, so let me play them the best way I know how.
Yes.
That's what I say all the time.
I love that. I love that. And not only have you transformed, you're looking to transform the foster area, an arena. Mm-hmm. You have a beautiful daughter who's sitting next to you. Yes. And let me tell you, Ms. Zoe, when your mom was talking about you the other day, you and your brother, the light that just came across her was just, I couldn't even describe it. She was so proud of you and your brother. And then she started talking to me. And even when I just met you just a few minutes ago, I'm getting chills. Like, you have a very beautiful spirit in you, and sweet as can be. I want you to tell people, first off, tell me about your mom. And tell me what about her that she brings to the family and she means to you.
Well, thank you so much. You're so sweet. But I think I look up to my mom because she sets, like, a big example for me. She plays a big role in my life. Like, I volunteer with her all the time for her events and stuff. And then I just see how, like, much of a difference she makes to, like, the other kids who went through, like, she went through, how they're still going through their journey, and I see how she is affecting them. And, yeah, I think that just inspires me to, like, be kind to people. And, you don't really know what everybody's going through. And so I just know, like, what she's doing is helping them to be, like, a better person. Yeah.
Maybe you've been here before. How old are you?
I'm 13.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, tell me, you were saying earlier, what is it that you love? What is it that inspires you to do what you do?
Well, I feel like I'm inspired by a lot of things, but I kind of just do things out of, like, my own passion for doing things. Like, I get inspired by other people. Like, I'll see someone doing that, and I'm like, that was really cool. Like, and then that inspires, like, a spark in me to do the same thing, or, like, to do that but with a twist. And so, like, when I see other things, I like to do that too. But then I'm very, like, creative, and, like, my mind is always, like, everywhere. And so I'm always thinking of different things I could be doing, or, like, how I could be helping the community. And so I do that.
And so what are some of the things that you do and that you would like, what are you passionate about, Miss Zoe?
Oh, I am very passionate about nature and animals, and I enjoy, like, helping people. So I go outside, like, I know it's kind of weird, but, like, if I find an animal or I see it, like, struggling, I will literally be the saddest person in the world. Like, a couple months ago, I found a rabbit in a backyard, and I started crying because I couldn't help it. And I just wanted to save it and help it. And my mom was, like, there. She was there. And she was like, oh, you can still save it. And I was like, no, it's hopeless. I'm such a bad person. I can't help it. And then I was like, okay, I gotta get together. And then I found its home, and I was able to put it back in its home. And then, like, that just meant the world to me. And so just helping, like, the community and nature and stuff, the as much as I can. Just yeah.
Zoe, you are inspiring me. As you were talking, I was thinking, this is my new Mr. Doolittle girl.
Oh my God.
That little girl who could talk to animals and do all of that. And then, what is your favorite subject, Miss Zoe?
Science.
Science. You love science. What about science is it that you like?
Well, the animal part. I love learning about animals and their habitats. I like being able to support habitats and stuff. I'll plant stuff from time to time. And just I enjoy looking at it too, and like learning about like our nature. And like every time I hear about like a new animal going extinct or something, it like breaks me down. But I love like learning about our habitats and like what's going on in the world. Yeah, and I like mixing chemicals too. That's really fun.
Now you are probably setting a good example for a lot of young women, especially girls, because at one point we were taught that we were not good at math. We couldn't be good at math or science, right. those areas. So somebody's probably watching and saying, "Oh yeah, I can do this."
Yeah, absolutely. And what are your aspirations for when you get older? What are you thinking about?
I'm thinking about being a vet. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But
And she said it her whole life, and
my
it's not
entire
changed.
life, ever since I was little, it's just been I need to be a vet. I need to do that.
Ooh. What'd she say?
She know it's school for her.
Okay. Jovette says she knows a school for you. That's beautiful.
That's one of our producers.
Yeah.
In the back.
The voice through the TV. Wow. And see, when I back to Cortney, when you said your past doesn't define you, so many of us, people are dealing with things or have been dealing with things. I don't have this. This happened to me. I've lost this. And there's one way to look at that. You can go, yep, I've lost it. I could choose to stay here in this space. But you made a choice to say, you know what? I know that may have happened.
Yeah.
And here's where I am now. Where do I go from here? What drove that? Like, where did that come from?
Yeah. So, like, for me, as you heard, when you were reading, I created this framework called EHT. Empower, Heal, Transform. And I had to empower myself along the way. I had to be my biggest cheerleader. I realized that as I aged out of foster care, I had very limited support, and I had to build my village, and that was a very uncomfortable process. Building my village, trying to figure out who I am, trying to survive, like all of that. I had to empower myself. I didn't have a lot of people saying, "Go, Cortney, go," and so I had to say, when I was sad and I was down, I had to say, "Okay, Cortney, get it together. You can only be sad for this long," or you could be sad, but you got to kick it into gear and then be sad again later. I gave myself space to feel what I'm feeling, but then I had to say, if I stay stuck, what will this do to me? And I had to realize that I had one or two choices. I could either become homeless, I could go back into incarceration. I know the life that I could have, but I also know the life that God told me I could have too.
That part.
And so I had to be obedient, and I had to say, okay, I need to empower myself along the way. I need to look myself in the mirror and say that, like, okay, Cortney, there's some things that you got to change too. Yeah, the system was unfair. Yeah, a lot of stuff was done to you, but I created a lot of unhealthy habits along the way. So I had to heal, because the version that I aspired to be, the version that I saw myself to be, if I didn't empower myself or heal along the way, I would never be able to transform into the woman I am today.
So, there's two things, because a lot of times we have this thing, and people either play victim or they become the victor. What? I guess my question is, how did you get what drove you to not be victim?
Yeah. Again, I'm gonna bring it back to God. I aged out of foster care, like end of May, June. I graduated on a Wednesday, had to be gone out of my foster mom's house that Saturday. I could not go back to my biological family house because CPS said if you did, we wouldn't give you a tuition fee waiver and we wouldn't give you any Medicaid. So I was like, I won't have nothing, so I decided not to go back to her house, and I slept in my car and bathed at a Waffle House. And I ended up getting on housing. And when I got on housing, I ended up meeting some friends that I thought were my friends. And they talked me into doing stuff that was not right. And so I ended up being locked up in jail, facing 2 felonies and a misdemeanor.
Wow.
And I went from one system to another system, like literally in months. And my freedom was taken. And I said, God, if I get out of this, I will be a servant. I will be your hands and your feet. And I will do right, and I'll make good choices. Because I know the choice that I made wasn't the best choice. And God blessed me. I walked away with no felonies.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I dedicated my life to Him. And I constantly have to choose to make decisions, to make better decisions. It's not easy. It's not easy to say, okay, I'm going to choose not to cuss you out. I'm going to choose not to steal. I'm going to choose not to go back and forth with you. I'm going to choose, it's a choice. And I chose it because, again, I knew the other side of what life could look like, because I had so many foster brothers and sisters that chose differently than I did. And I know where they're at. And I didn't want that for myself. And the CPS already had told me, you're going to be incarcerated, pregnant, homeless. They already spoke negativity into my life. They already told me what they thought was going to happen. And I said, no, I'm going to show you better than I can tell you.
I love that.
Like, I'm telling you I'm going to be a social worker. And the day that lady that gave me that assessment, after I finished college, I looked her back up to see if she was still practicing. And I called her and I said, I'm a social worker now. And so that right there, me knowing that, like, I have to be victorious in everything that I do, because they're already thinking that I'm not going to succeed and I'm not going to be anything. And I think that was my biggest driving force, that I'm going to prove you wrong.
Talk to us, Vicki, a little bit about, because Cortney said something that I think sometimes we tend to forget about, we have a choice. For those that can make a choice, I'm not talking about something that may need, maybe as a physical damage per se. But for most, sometimes we don't feel we have the choice. We can make a choice to do something.
Well, what I'm hearing from Cortney is that she chose to live her life according to God's plan. And so many times when you're in those systems, you do hear those voices. You're going to either be pregnant, you're going to be jailed, you're going to do drugs, you're going to end up dead. I mean, you're going to end up in a gang. And so you keep hearing over and over, because a lot of people in the system, that's what they hear consistently. There's nothing saying. There's very few people that will say, your God's child is not the way it has to be.
Right.
That you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You don't hear that. And so I know it's the listening, because you have to, it's strange, we had this in a sermon this morning, but it's like you have to have these mind shift changes, these mindset changes. But the only way you can hear that is if you're hearing, and I'm not talking about just like I'm just listening with my ears.
Right.
It's almost like you have to be fed consistently with the voice that says, no, you're more than this. No, this is not who you are. No, you can do more than just this. No, you're not a victim.
Right.
You have to hear that constantly, because so long in that system, especially when you're young, is telling you what you cannot do, what you cannot do, what you cannot do, what you cannot do. And it's unfortunate. I wish that more people would speak life into our children, especially the kids that are in those systems.
Which is why, it just gave me so much pleasure to hear what Cortney was doing through her life, her lived experience, and I think sometimes we all can get so stuck in it's so big. There's nothing I can do, and Cortney made a decision to change one at a time.
Yeah.
And I think when we take it one at a time, it's that one, and then that one can go, and then and it trickles down to that. And
But the name of my organization is Change One Mind, Change One Life. But we go by Change One.
okay.
And the whole reason why it's called Change One Mind, Change One Life is because I wanted to change the mindsets of those that see kids from the foster care system to see them beyond what has happened to them. But also for young people to see themselves differently.
Yes.
Because that's when true change happens, when you see yourself differently. And the only way you can see yourself differently is if you move yourself outside of the circumstance that continues to keep speaking negativity.
Exactly.
So when I went to college, I became an RA. So now my village is changing. So the language is changing. The things that are being said to me is changing. The possibilities are changing for me. I can see it closer than I could ever see it before because I put myself in proximity with the things that I aspire. But if I stayed where I was at and I heard what I heard and was with the people I was with, I probably wouldn't be where I am today.
Yeah.
But I joined a community service sorority in college. Like, I started to build the life that I wanted for myself. And so through that healing continued and the choices got easier for me because I was amongst my peers that were going places and doing things. I studied abroad in college. Like, I did things and I was like, okay, if I continue down this path, like I know that I'm going somewhere and doing something. But if I could go back to this, I already know what my life is like. And so it was an easier choice for me. Not all the time. Like, there were times that I was in my flesh and there was times that I did not know how to emotionally regulate. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I didn't struggle, that I don't continue to struggle. But the struggle is a lot easier and the choices are a lot easier for me now because of who's in my village and my circle.
It's one of the things I used to ask my groups when I was doing addiction groups is, can you change the world? And everybody would say, no, you can't. I said, oh, yes, you can. And the reason I'd say that is because it's the person that stands in front of you, one person at a time. See, because and most times for me, I would tell it like this: if I impact the people in my household, one person, what will they do?
Yeah.
Whatever I've taught them, they end up, because we all got our stuff.
We do.
But each child ends up taking that teaching that I can change somebody else's life by what I do, how I behave, and how I treat someone else. That's two people that are touching two other people, and two other people, and two other people. And so with that kind of a mindset, I can change the world one person at a time.
Yes.
Yep.
Makes a huge difference. But again, you're right. Where does it start?
Right, and the enemy, I really believe the enemy would have us focus so much on how big the problem is.
Yes.
It's so big, and what can I do?
One person at a time.
Yeah.
And it goes back, even like I think about the woman at the well. She was by herself and just ran back.
Yes, she
To
did.
tell everybody it's just one person at a time, which is just a beautiful thing because it brings it down to what can I do? And I just sitting here listening to your story, Cortney, of my prayer is that somebody who's in whether they're in the system or not, can go, you know what, I can choose to look at this a little differently. And I'm going back to Romans 8:28 again. God purposed you for this assignment. He purposed you for your two beautiful children. How do you how do you walk in that? How do you keep yourself in a space of, as you're dealing with all the stuff that's happened and continues to happen and struggle, what do you do when it's like, okay, God, this is my assignment? How do you keep yourself filled so your cup can run over?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm still trying to figure that piece out. I really am trying to figure that piece out, because I would give so much that I didn't even have anything for my babies. And I've learned that God wants me to give, but He doesn't want me to give from an empty cup. And so I've had to learn the balance between motherhood, entrepreneurship, and service, because I can't give from an empty cup. And so I've had to start setting boundaries with myself first.
How has that been going? Because she looking at you, give my side eye. I need some help, Cortney. How has that been going? Because it's when you have a servant's heart.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard because you have your family. Like it's like you. I feel like I'm on all the time trying to serve, and it's like, Lord, how do you find that moment just for you without the guilt?
Yeah.
Because you know sometimes we feel guilty when we take our time for ourselves. So what do you do?
So we pray and we say, God, give us mercy, give us grace, but we got to give ourselves grace. We got to give ourselves grace. Yeah. And we have to say, yes, I didn't take that meeting today, but it's okay. The world ain't going to end because that meeting didn't happen. Like, we going to get back on the books. Yeah. The world is not going to end. I had to tell myself, like, it's okay to have a season of no.
It is, absolutely.
So last season, I learned no is a complete sentence.
Yes.
Yeah, she did. She's doing so much better. I'm so proud of her.
And sometimes people say, oh, it's because of the fear of missing out. No, it's not even about fear of missing out. Sometimes people find their identity in serving.
Yes.
And so, God, if I'm not serving, then who am I?
Yes.
And then it's like, okay, you got to sit with yourself during those times when God is saying, be still. And it's like, okay, God, well, what you want me to do in being still? And it's like you have to create an environment to be able to hear Him. And I know when my car is a mess, my house is a mess, it's because I have been saying yes, and serving, and I'm neglecting my temple, I'm neglecting my family at a cost. And so it's like I have to say, okay, is this cost worth it?
Oh, that's a good question.
Is it?
Is this cost worth?
Even if you're doing good, is that cost worth it?
Because when we walked in the room, I did. It's crazy because I did tell you I was supposed to be at the conference.
Right.
Well, I'm not going to say I was supposed to be at the conference. I paid to go to the conference. And then yesterday, I had a 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock and a 2 o'clock. All workshop stuff. And I sat back Thursday and my body was like, you can do that if you want to, but that's not what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And usually I enjoy the conference, but I kept asking if I'm not rested, if I'm tired and I'm pushing through, what am I going to gain?
Yep.
I probably would have been okay.
Yeah. But at what cost? What would have cost you something?
The cost would have been a little bit high. And then the craziness of it is that evening, well, not even that evening, if I were at one place, there would have been a call that I would have missed that I'm sure God had me on. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So sometimes we get busy based on expectation. Like it's not even, it's like I need to be there. I should be there. It's not even I need to be there. It's I should be there.
Yep.
What am I going to gain? And sometimes it's like, remembering that, actually remembering that if I'm not at this place or this place at this place, God is still with me at the place where I am.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm gonna bring it home. My biological mom, I just lost her 2 years ago. And prior to my biological mom passing away, she kept saying, I am tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired. And my mom, she took care of my grandfather before he passed. So my grandfather passed in April. My mom passed in January.
Wow.
And she, she worked at Salvation Army, and she just, would go over to my grandma's house and help her. Like my grandmother and my mom, had a great relationship where she would go over. And so I just kept hearing my mom say, I'm tired. My mom was always ripping and running, and she kept saying, I'm tired. And my mom fell asleep and never woke back up. And they hit me. And so anytime I'm tired, anytime I hear somebody say they tired, it triggers me, because I'm like, I want you to prioritize yourself. I want you to, like me and my mom, we were supposed to go on a mother-daughter trip and we didn't get to. And I don't want people to live life so much where they are saying yes to everything but themselves.
Okay.
Get it from both sides, Lord have mercy. So did you see that? I got it from both sides, didn't I? Lord.
That's because we love you.
And I love you guys. For me, it really is. It is a tussle. Like really working hard to. I put myself high, but I am not 100% surrendered to the other piece. And that's an internal thing that I know I'm working through. I'm better than I was. I do know that. But I know I've not arrived yet, and it's really a work.
But you deserve it. That's the thing. You deserve it. You deserve peace. You deserve harmony. You deserve balance and growth, and you deserve abundance. Like, you deserve all of it, but not at a cost.
Yeah.
Not at the cost that I think that I need to pay.
Yeah.
That part. Because he's already paid the cost.
Yeah,
Y'all come on now.
And so when you look at it, it's like, and trust and believe, it's not something that that I've known all my life. Because, you grow up in a space where serving is all you do.
All you do, right.
And that's how you gain your crown, so to speak. Then that's what you learn. Is you have to constantly be doing, or you're not doing
enough.
Yeah.
You're not doing enough. And you're not serving enough. You're not
the good deeds
enough.
alone,
And you're right, you get to a point where it's like, and I've done it, been there, I'm tired, my body's tired, and learning to listen. Because a lot of times it's not the physical tiredness.
Right. And when you were talking about like the habit of, or the cycle of just serving, and our bodies are also, the physical part remembers that too. So when you're not doing all of that, you can go through a withdrawal and maybe even misdiagnose the withdrawal for saying, no, you really need to rest.
And don't feel guilty. I feel guilty every time I do rest.
Yes.
Every time I rest, I feel so guilty because I'm like, I could be doing this.
Yes.
I could be doing this and this and this.
I do too. And there were like the time that my body was like, I went to bed at 5 and woke up the next day at 6. I know I needed it. But then I eventually was like, oh, if I would have up, I would have been this, I could have had that. So you're right. And I'm going to swing it over to Miss Zoe as a young, beautiful 13-year-old. With all of these things that are going on, how do you find your balance and your aspect with what you do?
I do a lot. I do just handle school and stuff. I think my balance is just just sleeping regularly, having a regular bedtime and stuff. Because I used to struggle to go to sleep, but then now it's I need sleep to be ready for the next day. I surround myself with a good community of people who I know will support me, and I know if I ever need something, they're there, and that's kind of my balance is my community around me to help.
You gonna say your computer?
I didn't mean to.
That's funny. So how did you pick your community?
Well, it's weird because my community, it kind of comes to me sometimes.
Okay.
Which I think, like, is, like, a blessing for, like, my community to find me. But also, like, it comes back to, like, also, like, the inspiration. Like, if I find someone I'm inspired in, I'm gonna, like, surround myself with them, to help me, like, achieve my goals and do what they're doing. But then also, like, it helps me as a person, and I think it helps them too. Like, they always say, like, oh, like, it's so good that we're friends now. It's like, oh, I don't know where I'd be, like, without you. And I'm like, oh, I think the same about you, you know?
Oh, that is beautiful.
Yeah.
And see, Zoe, you're wearing something on your wrists that I'd love to hear a little more about that you are doing with your bracelets. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, so I make bracelets, and it's called Whimsy. I named it Whimsy. But I like, color is like, I really love color. Like, it helps to stimulate me, kind of. And, normally I'm wearing like 100 bracelets on each arm.
Really?
Yes, I just left them at home because we were rushing, but normally I'm like sleeve covered of bracelets. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That you've made.
Yeah, because like I said, like earlier, my mind is always all around the place, and I always have to be doing something. And so bracelets help me do that, and I think that is pretty cool that I can make that for other people. Because I made this like little animal, and I know people are all like, oh, I wish I could make that.
Wait, there's an animal?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's like,
show the camera.
it's a little possum.
Get close. Let's see.
Show the back side of the possum.
Yeah. So this is like its tail,
Oh, wow.
and its tail's like wrapping, and it has like a face.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, you see its little nose and its eyes.
Oh, my gosh. I see it now.
Yeah. And so I make these, and like I have a bunch of people, because my love for nature and animals, and a bunch of people are like, oh, it's so cute, like, where'd you get it? I'm like, I made it. And so I think it's really cool, like, people bringing joy to people's faces, like them seeing my bracelets and my work and what I do.
So,
I also told her about the bracelets you made for Angel's bracelet.
Yes, I made bracelets for, Angel, and put inspiring words on it so other kids could get that too.
I love that. Now, when you go about making those bracelets and putting those inspiring words, what do you hope to elicit from those people that receive that? Why give a bracelet with an inspiring word? What do you want to do? Like, what should that do for that person? What do you hope that it brings them?
Well, bracelets, they kind of like stay on your wrist. Like, you barely even notice they're there, but like at times when you're like, you use your hands so much. Like, you're always writing or on your phone or like shaking someone's hand or giving a high five and stuff. And so seeing that could like also give you inspiration. Like, sometimes your hands aren't even always for good things. Like, sometimes they could be on your face because you're sad, or like you're grabbing a tissue to wipe your tears or something, and you see that and you're like, that's like inspiring you know? Yeah. And also like others seeing that, they could be like, wow, I really needed that today.
And she was my director for my book. Like, she was the one that told me how to do everything. She was my inspiration.
So I'm inspired just sitting here. I mean, your mama's fantastic too, but you have this. You're a gift, Zoe.
Thank you.
You really are a gift, and for you to be at this age caring about others and not just thinking about it, but you're actively doing something about. So what do you want to do with your bracelets? Have you thought about what you want to do with that?
That's kind of what I'm working on now. I'm working on like getting a website together. I'm just working on Canva right now, but I'm eventually gonna make like a website. And I think like the purpose of my bracelets is like to bring joy to people and to make them feel better in those hard times. Because I know like if I just like was sad and I looked down, I was like, whoa, a little possum on her wrist, like that's super cool. But yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to go. And then like I get a ton of compliments on my bracelets. You know, like those little compliments can make someone feel like better in their day. And so I think that's my goal for my bracelet business.
Have you thought about a name for it yet?
It's called Whimsy.
Oh, it's already. Excuse me. Excuse me. Is it Whimsy? Now, where does Whimsy come from? Where did you get that name?
Well, like, you know, how I said, like, it's about joy and bringing happiness. So, like, whimsy is, like, joy and happiness and, like, not caring. But I guess it's, like, not caring. It's just, like, a little bit of freedom. Like what you were talking about earlier, like, taking breaks and stuff. Like, I guess the whimsy is, like, reminding you to take a break and sit back, you know? Just, yeah.
You know, I'm going to order a couple of bracelets
Okay.
from Miss Zoe. Because you're right, because we're on our arms, and sometimes that can be, I love that as a reminder, just to kind of take a breath or to take a beat for just a minute. That's, okay, I'm going to be ordering. Here's what I want you to do, Miss Zoe. I need a special bracelet. I want you to think of something that you might think that I might need. Whether it's take a break, breathe, something, rest, something. And I want to get a bracelet from you. Can you do that for me?
Yes.
And then I'm going to show you guys the bracelet.
Oh my goodness.
And then when her website is available, we'll make sure you guys are going to bring her back and talk about that. The church says, sometimes people say the kids are the church of tomorrow. They're the church of today. Right now, people, even at a young age, sometimes we don't think they can be, offer anything to society, be valuable from a perspective of making an impact. But like you're talking about change one mind and change one
mind, change one life.
Change one mind, change one life. That's what you're already doing here. Mm-hmm. And when you just said, if somebody's having a bad day or they may be crying, they look up and go, right there, that could possibly lift them. You thought enough about that. That's beautiful, young lady. That is so beautiful and insightful and powerful. Mm-hmm. Oh, we're going to celebrate you, honey. Yeah. We're going to celebrate you.
Thank you.
Wow. Your brother, I know he didn't want to come on TV. We don't want to leave him out. He's just as special, too. Mm-hmm. Tell me about your brother.
So he's shy, so that's why he's not here. But he's pretty cool. He's getting into basketball right now, and that's been, like, his big inspiration, his whole thing. He's a big gamer, and he says he wants to do coding when he's older, so that's pretty cool. He can be a bit annoying at times, like all little brothers, but I think he's very important in my life. Yeah, he's a big, like, chunk of, like, my journey. Yeah, because when I was, like, little and we had just gotten adopted and stuff, like, I was, like, taking care of him, and it was, like, he was my kid, and, like, without him, I don't know, like, what if I would have been, like, who I am, like, without knowing, like, how to take care of people and how to care for people. Yeah.
You want to talk a little about that process?
Yeah.
Yeah, talk a little about the process.
So, like, I think we went to different homes. Like, I've only heard about this because, like, I don't remember when I was 2. But, yeah, like, I was 2 years old, and me and my brother, like, we both got adopted by our 2 moms. So that was pretty cool. But from what I've heard, I was the one who felt like I needed to be the parent, and I needed to be there to protect my little brother. Like, I was willing to risk everything and anything for him. And so, I think, like, if I didn't have that, like, I don't know if I'd, like, would have learned to take care of people and would have learned that, like, sometimes I do need to step up. And then I had to learn to, like, you don't have to take care of people all the time. So I had to relearn and balance that in between. And that's kind of also where I learned to balance things.
Yeah, just being a kid.
Yeah.
I was like, just be a kid. You don't have to be mama, be a kid.
Yep. And that's, like, I learned to balance that, like, from early on.
She teaching me stuff over here. Balance. Yeah, that's... And even in that, like... You also made a choice to look at things from a particular perspective. Mm-hmm. And I know sometimes people may be watching and they're thinking, I don't have a choice. It's all bad, and it may need to take that extra possibility, and maybe hearing your story, seeing you all, they may get a little glimmer of hope that there's a possibility that I can choose this for myself. You said something earlier about if I can see it, I can be it. Yes. And too many times we don't give our chance an opportunity to see that possibility.
I believe in vision boards. I really believe in vision boards. When I became a social worker, the first assignment that I did with transition age youth that were at a shelter was a vision board party. And I looked at my vision board probably like 3 years after I had made it. I had just came across it. And I could not believe that maybe 10 out of the 20 things that were on there had already been accomplished. I had graduated. I had got a car. I had gotten a relationship, like all the things that I put on there. And so I've learned that it's important to have it visually seen so that you can, the days that you don't have hope, you can see, okay, I don't have hope today, but I put this out here into the atmosphere. And so, therefore, I know God ain't going to fail me. Yeah. I know that God's not going to fail me. I even put some sticky tabs, you know. I had some sticky tabs. I didn't have no pictures and stuff at one point. I do this every year. And so, one day, I had some sticky tabs over my little Dollar Tree mirror. And on the sticky tab, I put God plan. And then on each sticky tab, I put personal goals and professional goals. And I didn't have pictures. I just wrote down what I wanted. And, like, I look back and I said, look at God. He has done it. And so, but we have to first see, write it, speak it constantly. And then it'll happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that, too. I believe, we talk about, alignment, manifestation, and those things. Mm-hmm. And when you hear, the scripture says, whatever he started in you, he's faithful to bring to fruition. Mm-hmm. And it's stay on the course. I heard Jamal Bryant last week at the Central Texas African American Family Conference. That's a long.
Yeah, it's a long thing. Yeah.
And he was talking about so many things, but one of the things he said was, of us to be able to see out into the future. Like too many of us, we stop too soon. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We stop before the breakthrough. It's taking too much effort. It's taking too much time. Mm-hmm. But God's timing is so important and divine. Like there's a reason for we think it's a delay.
Yeah.
There's preparation that needs to happen.
Yes.
The soil needs to be tilled in a way to receive what's coming. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh.
And it's never too late.
It's never too late.
Oh my God, yes.
And guess what?
What's that?
It's
never too late.
Never is.
We're late now.
We're late now. Lord have mercy. I was trying to. Y'all, thank you guys. We are wrapping up another episode. Miss Cortney, Miss Zoe, thank you all so much.
Thank you for having me.
For joining us today.
Great to have you guys.
We're gonna have another fight. We're gonna have to come back again and bring them and continue on. I'm Lady Madelyn, faith led, purpose driven, voice empowered. We'll see you all next time. God bless. That was fast.
Yeah,
Sitting all alone, looking out the window, where the walls come tumbling down. That's where I'm happy with me, reflecting on who I am and all I can become. I still have many flaws, but I'm not where I used to be. I am happy with me.